Basically, and I've said this before, and I've told Mark Undertaker this, and he's well aware of it, especially during during the early younger days. I was the highest paid babysitter in the world because Mark was a party animal in those days. In his younger days, boy, and he had the right to be a party animal. You know, he was a superstar. He still is. Was a superstar, and a lot of times I looked at myself as a babysitter because I'm several years older than Mark, and I made sure that he made the planes in the morning. And I made sure that we had a hotel room and we had rental cars, and I took care of. I think that's why I lasted so long. Not only were we real friends, and we still are, is I took care of business.
Did the office or Vince kind of put you on the side and go, "Hey, kind of look out," or
no,
you just took that under your?
I just did. It's just because I'm a few years older than he is, and that's just me. That's my personality. That's the way I am. I don't ever go anywhere without a reservation or a rental car, and I'm just that way. I'm just that's how I am oriented, you know.
And if the wrestler you're managing doesn't show up, there you go. So protecting your investment.
Right. So I made many mornings I'd be beating on his door, getting his ass up, you know, or waiting for him to come in when the sun's coming up, you know. But I was a high paid babysitter, but I was having so much fun because I was doing what I dreamed. So right. It was payoff all the way around.
Was Hogan good with Undertaker as far as like giving him what he wanted and stuff like that?
Yeah, he did. Hogan was the man, and I don't think he really wanted to do what he did to do the favor for Taker at the time. In fact, he was so serious. He got back to the back after the match was over and acted like his neck was hurt and shit, and they called an ambulance. There wasn't a damn thing wrong with him. He was just trying to take a little pain away there. But It wasn't a long run, which of course but it was just the fact that nobody was beating him, at that time. And it really kicked off the Undertaker's career there.
What about some of the early characters against Undertaker?
We had some great runs.
Like Sid.
I said great runs. You had to say Sid.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Poor old Sid. That was okay. I mean, I wouldn't compare that to Giant Gonzales, the Roman Giant Gonzales. Because that was the drizzling fucking diarrhea shits. Giant Gonzales was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, we hated it so bad. And we'd done that blow-off in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace when we had the outside show there.
Mm-hmm.
We were so glad that was over. But then there were so many good ones. Believe it or not, the Ultimate Warrior deal. That was really, we made some money with that, and we carried that all around the world. We've done the body bag matches, the casket matches, and we never had a problem with Jim.
Jake.
Jake.
How was Jake at that time?
Jake, have y'all done Jake before?
Oh, yeah. We just did him 3 weeks, a month ago, on the road in the car.
I'd like to see that. I think the world of Jake, and I think Jake's got the best interview in our business, in our industry. I love the way he just stands there and never raises his voice. That's Jake.
Right.
I like Jake, and we had some good stuff with Jake. And Jake's the one that turned us babyface when we done the angle there. But
did you think it was possible?
Well, hindsight being 20/20, it wasn't. The fans wanted this. The fans loved our gimmick. They just loved it. It's like watching a scary movie on TV. You like to be scared. So you could see the kids' faces when the Undertaker would come out when it was all new.
Yeah.
It was just, and they loved that. And the fans made us baby faces. And Vince, we tried everything we could to be heels, and the fans demanded that we be baby faces. So that's how we ended up doing the angle with Jake and Elizabeth, God rest her soul, and became the baby faces that we became. And I always had to work at being a babyface. I'm a natural heel. It's so easy to be a heel.
Right.
For me, it's just so much easier, so much fun, and not that I'm really a bad guy, because I like kids and shit too, but to smile all the time and all that shit. Something you're so tired. We had a hell of a schedule back in the day, man. We were on the road, some years 300 days a year. So people don't understand how tiring it is being on the road away from your family and stuff, and you come right off the plane and you're tired, but there's the fans there waiting on you, wanting your autographs and your pictures, and you've got to take the time to give back, because if it wasn't for the fans, it wouldn't be us.
Also, they did the angle with Brian Lee. He came in. He was the Undertaker angle. Why do you think that bombed?
Because it was a shit. Well, first, Brian Lee is the Undertaker's best friend at that time.
Right.
I guess they still are good friends. But at that time, he was his best friend. And Brian Lee was his best man in his wedding, his first wedding. And so they had a real connection there. You know.
Was this after his ECW run or before?
It was after.
After, okay.
And I never was real too hot on it. It was there. It was a little filler there.
Right.
But we had some great shit with Yokozuna, God rest his soul. Some great stuff with him, and Kamala as well.
Right.
Some real fun stuff with Kamala. Where we built we did segments every week where we'd be building Kamala's casket. And Kamala, we've already talked about my history with him. Kamala, in fact, we just talked about this a few days ago when he came down to Mobile for one of my shows. He hates being, locked up in a casket. Who wants to be locked up in a casket? Me. But Kamala, he's so funny because he said, I ain't getting no casketus. He wouldn't say casket, he'd say casketus. I ain't getting no casketus. So Vince, and his typical Vince humor, as soon as that match was over, Undertaker puts Kamala in the casket, and we nailed the lid shut. Take him to the back of the back behind stage and just push him back there and leave him there. This is a little typical Vince McMahon rib,
Wow.
But and there were so many that we had, and then the time with the Yokozuna deal when the Undertaker died and rose to heaven. Y'all remember that one?
Yeah.
That was at Royal Rumble in Providence, Rhode Island, I believe. I think it was Royal Rumble. Like 30 guys beat him up. And opened the urn and let the green smoke come out. And Undertaker rose into heaven. Then he came back. He's still here.